All right. So hopefully everybody can hear me. Let's make sure the audio is okay. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, give a thumbs up. Just making sure the audio is fine. All right. Hello everybody. Welcome back. Has been a very long time. I have been live on my channel. Has been actually more than a couple of months. So first of all, before we begin all the questions, first of all, thank you everybody for all the love that you have been giving me for all these years. This channel has crossed 40,000 subscribers, and everybody who's engaging in the content, watching the video, liking the video, or have commented, thank you very much, and I hope you are enjoying. I hope I am able to bring the best content on the YouTube in terms of data engineering, AWS, and of course a lot more. With that being said, I hope everybody's healthy. I hope everybody's doing great in their personal life. And now we can begin taking some of the questions. All right, so let's see. First of all, we see Yashwant here. Hi Yashwant, good to see you again as always. Muhammad is here. Hi Muhammad, good to see you again. Then we have a question from Suraj, says, how to get discount on AWS SAA -CO3. It's expensive. I cannot afford at this. I'm a student. Oh, that's a great question. So AWS basically also gives you credit, so you can apply for credits, and they give you, I believe, up to $200 of cloud dollars to spend. So that way you can practice, you can learn more about all the cool stuff, right? So hopefully that answers the question. We have Suraj here. Says, hey Suraj, good to see you again. So yeah, please make sure to take advantage of the live Q&A and ask your questions. And again, I'll try my level best to answer these questions as and when they arrive. Okay, so I'll be there for about 15 to 20 minutes. Hopefully, I'll try my best to take as many questions as possible over here and hopefully answer them. So, all right, so I'm just gonna wait for some questions. If you have those questions, please, make sure to put them in the chat window. You should be able to see the chat window live. This way, this way over here. So kindly go ahead and put your questions in, and I'll try my best to answer them. In the meanwhile, we do have some questions. Well, first of all, Yashwant says, right now I'm working on Gen AI project for our company. I have successfully implemented data lake storage for our company using Apache Hudi. That's absolutely great. That's absolutely great. For any machine learning or any projects in general, data lake is the bedrock, right? You would need data to train models. So organizing the data is very crucial, and hence data engineering jobs will always increase more in future as well, because with all this Gen AI, you need someone to manage all these data, right? So that's great. Good to hear that, Yashwant. Suraj says, but how to get discount on AWS exam credits? Don't work for exam, guess. Yep, I don't think it works for the exam. I think it works for the AWS cloud account. Yep, that's correct. Also, I again, depending upon people's perspective, Suraj, I feel like those certifications, I don't want to use the wrong words, but again, I feel like it's just a mere piece of paper. You can also prove that you can create projects and you can write blogs, and that itself shows that, hey, this person knows a lot more about cloud. Yeah, certification helps here and there, but again, real life projects, experience really adds up more than the certificate is all, I would say. Like, I'll take my example. I do not have any AWS certification, but I know a lot more in cloud. I have proved my knowledge through YouTube videos, through writing blogs, through writing articles. I really do not need a certification, right? So I'm not saying that you don't have to have a certification, but I'm just saying there are other ways to prove your skills, that you hold that particular expertise, right? So, just a thought. Hope I wanted to share that. We have Essential Unbox says, please make a Udemy course to cover all the cloud related topics. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for your questions. I do not want to make Udemy course because usually the Udemy courses are paid, and my goal is to promote the content for free of cost without charging a dime to anybody. This whole YouTube channel is meant for you guys to come here, learn more, explore more, so that you don't have to pay like dime here and there. So that's the goal of the channel from the start. Although I can make a Udemy course, but I feel YouTube is a place where all the content could be found for absolutely free of cost. So but maybe I'll consider in the future. We have Harmeet here. Hey Harmeet, how are you doing? I hope everything great there. Please, put down your questions in the chat window, and we'll try to answer them over here. So yeah, we were talking about the certification, right? So again, at the end of the day, it's a piece of paper, right? Nobody will ask you your 9th standard mark or your how much did you score in English in 5th standard, right? After years and years, I think those are just a piece of paper at the end of the day. Yeah, you do need those papers, but again, I'm just saying, like, there are other ways to prove your skills. Hopefully, All right. So any other questions that I can answer, use the window, and we'll try our level best. Let me see if I can zoom this window a little bit. Yeah, I think this was a little better. And let me see if I can zoom this one so you guys are able to see the chat as well. Oh, oops. Okay, perfect. All right. By the way, also upcoming, I'll try my best to make more and more contents on. Let me fix my camera first. Do I stand here or do I stand here? Okay, so this way. This camera thing. All right, hopefully that works. All right, so I'm also in the process of making more videos, not just on Apache Hudi, but now on Apache Iceberg, Delta Lake. Apache Pymon has recently been incubating. It's really very new, so I'm exploring that as well. So again, the goal of the channel would be to promote knowledge for free of cost. Okay. We have Essential Unboxed here says saying about Udemy, because I mostly wonder from where I have to start, etc. Like Udemy courses are aligned for beginner levels to expert. Absolutely, you have a very good point there. But also, most of the Udemy courses are paid, and lot of people would need access to content, and sometimes pay. So there are people who cannot afford to pay, let's say $120 or $100, whatever that is, on Udemy, right? So hence I believe that having YouTube and having free content is one of the best ways, right? But absolutely, I get the point. So thank you very much, Essential Unboxed, for the question. Armit Singh says, I'm a web scraper and scraping all sort of data from web using Python. Right now, I am facing a problem to scale it up. Question is, what are the things I should be learning to scale at Go? Great. So I think I can talk on this topic quite a lot, because the fact that I was able to develop an internal scraping system at my company a couple of years back, that too at a massive scale. It's running about 700 scrapes every single day, and also in a yearly basis, probably 160,000 jobs it's scraping, right? So how do you approach now? All right, you got this project which works on Selenium, whatever XYZ, and now how do you scale this up, right? So one of the best ways to scale your scrapers is following. So now let's first of all discuss the compute, right? You can have EC2 instance, but again, you will soon reach a point where you'll be like, no. Lambda, you can use Lambda, but again, Lambda has a problem of 15 minutes, right? Your scrape has to be done within 15 minutes. So what if they go more than that? So here is what I personally did in my company and how I developed scrapers at a massive scale. What we did is, for scheduling, we used EventBridge. For metadata, meaning for the job scraper metadata, we used SQL Server, which holds the metadata. And for running the scraper jobs, we use AWS Batch. What happens is the Python code sits on S3, and when the cron happens, it basically fires up a Lambda. Lambda basically pulls the metadata, for example, the job details and other parameters from SQL Server. It passes on to the batch job, the ID, right? And the batch job, has these Python templates. It will pull from the S3 and it will execute your Selenium scraper code. It will scrape the data, bring it into S3. So this system works flawlessly. Why? Because it's templatized, it's Dockerized, meaning it can easily scrape for thousands and thousands of scrapers. So every single scraper runs in its unique Docker environment or Docker containerized environment. And for every single job, you can easily also specify how much vCPU, how much RAM do I need, how much compute I want to allocate. So you can do all of that, and all that metadata is configured through SQL Server. To sum it up for you, Harmeet Singh. So to sum it up, Harmeet, to develop things at a massive scale, you need something for scheduling. I would recommend AWS EventBridge. You can also go for Airflow, but I would still recommend EventBridge. Then for metadata, you can use DynamoDB, SQL Server, whatever you prefer. And then for compute, basically for where your jobs are going to run, Selenium jobs, right? I would say AWS Batch and Batch, because they will run your scrapes in a Dockerized environment where you can easily specify how much resource, how much compute you need. Hope that helps. That should help you how to now scale up your scrapers at a massive scale. Thank you. All right, next question. Mohammed says, I'm working as a junior data engineer and I am looking to go for next level. In which field I should? Okay, I'm looking for junior engineer and I'm looking to go next level. In which field I should focus? Mohammed, first of all, I would say, first of all, great that you are in the data engineering space. Data engineering itself is huge. You can pick up a niche in that, right? For example, you can specialize in like data lake is also one of the massive field, right? You can specialize in data lakes. You can go into ETL. You can go into stream processing. There's a lot of components that you can master in it, right? Of course, like nobody knows everything for sure. But what I would recommend as a suggestion would be have an overall idea of all the components like ETL, all right, data lakes, okay, Spark here, a little bit Flink here, a little bit stream processing here. And once you have all of these idea, overall big picture, then choose a niche. Like for example, like I'm very good at Apache Hudi, right? Developing, ETL jobs, ingesting data. So that's my niche, right? Spark, Hudi. But although I do have an overall cloud experience and background, right? So what I would say, have overall experience and knowledge, and then pick up a niche and then go deep in that and become the subject matter expert in that area. That would be my suggestion. So again, depending upon your interest, you may choose a particular niche in that. Let me know if I answered the question. If not, I'm happy to talk more on that. Lavi here says, is Trino a Spark killer? I think it's just similar to like Presto and I mean, they all are same. Whatever works best for you. I mean, this topic is quite debatable. Like the query engine. Hey, is Trino better or Presto better or this is better or that is better? It's always debatable. Each company has their own performance and benchmarking. So I would say, depending upon your expertise, what you are comfortable, pick up that particular stuff. That's usually how I do. Like, I'll always do things that I'm more comfortable, because at the end you have to manage that underlying stuff, right? So hopefully it made sense. All right. So any other questions? Please use the chat window. I'm really having fun today talking to everybody. Harmeet Singh again says, hey, follow-up question. There are some websites which rate limits or either ban IP. How can... Yeah, sure. So again, as I said, right, Harmeet, I was able to develop an internal scraping system at a huge scale. We had this issue, and the way we overcome is basically using proxy IP address and fake user agents. So every time you make a scrape, you want to rotate your user agent like Chrome, Mozilla, Safari. So you want to have a massive list. You want to randomly fake that. And also you want to use a proxy IP address. So every time you are using Selenium, you can basically use a unique IP address so that you're not caught. And for rate limiting, what you want to do is you want to add random delay from 1 to 6 or 1 to 8. So you want to do things more as if a human would do, right, rather than a bot. So hopefully that helps. I think I do have some articles on LinkedIn. I'll try to find it. If I find it, I'll put them in the description. Let me see. Selenium, Somal Shah. Because I know I think I wrote some articles on LinkedIn, but I just have to find that out, Anyway, I'll find that article in the meanwhile. If you guys have any other questions, I think I found it, by the way. So Harmeet Singh, you can probably refer to this LinkedIn article that I'm about to post. So yeah, here I explained all those, strategies to like how to have your selenium not been detected, right? Anyway, so if you have any other questions here in the live Q&A, please use this, because I cannot answer comments. I just, there are so many comments on the videos and there are thousands of videos. It is at a point where I can just, it's impossible to answer. So having live Q&A is the only way to like address now. All right, sure. Yeah, any other questions? Please use the chat window. Levi here says, how you view DBT. I think, see, one of the DBT is great. One of the challenge that I usually face with, I mean, I think that I am uncomfortable with with this scheduling DBT jobs, right? It's kind of like a difficult to like schedule DBT jobs on AWS. Yeah, you have to use either AWS batch or use Airflow, and in Airflow also you have to use like a bash operator. So scheduling the DBT job part is a little tricky or uncomfortable rather, is what I would say. But overall, I like DBT because it simplifies your T part in your ELT, right? So we have. What are your thoughts on scraping via K8s? I haven't done Kubernetes, Harmeet, so I'm not sure. But again, I think it's the same thing, right? Each of you under the hood, you have containers, and containers run in your Docker container. It's basically a pod, right? So it's the same thing, right? Either you can use K8s or AWS batch. I preferred AWS batch because at that time I was more comfortable with that particular stuff. So hence I opted for AWS batch. Again, all I would say at the end of the day, choose the item that you are more comfortable, choose the item that you can manage, because you are the one who's going to manage at the end. People will tell you all the fancy stuff, but do stuff that you are more comfortable at the end, is all I would say. All right, so we have a question from Levi says, the Cosmos by Astronomer to schedule the DB. Yes, I have seen that video, but also it's a little bit like the whole, so two things, right? With this, right? You have your AWS sort of managed Airflow, right? And then you have this Astronomer, whatever, Airflow, right? So they have like, I tried the lab for the Jaffle shop that they showed, but then it becomes difficult to implement that in the AWS managed Airflow, because you got to deal with the Python version. And it's a little tricky. It's not that straightforward, is all I would say. So unless you use probably their Astronomer, whatever, Airflow stuff, yeah, great. But if you're gonna do things with managed Airflow, then yeah, again, it becomes a headache, to be honest, is all I would say. The Python version and the conflicting libraries and this and that. So yeah, that's the only headache that I have seen people using DBT like that about scheduling, again, as I said. But yeah, I have seen those videos from I guess Astronomer for that Jaffle shop and all that DBT project. So the only thing that I said, again, I like DBT really much, but scheduling is a little headache, is all I would say. Larry says, how do you solve the jar version problem in Spark? Never get it right. Honestly, I do not know that. I usually just try different jar version. I do not have a clear answer to that, but I'll try to look it up on Google or try to research that particular question, but I do not have a solid answer to your question. Wow, there are a lot of questions today. Interesting. Wow, enjoyed. All right, please use the window today and ask as many questions as you can. And if I know something, I'll say I know. If I do not know, I'll say I do not know the answer to this question. So again, Databricks versus Snowflake. Again, these are all you're asking a lot of topics that are quite debatable. I would not see, again, I would not comment which is better and what's better, because it's like it's a quite debatable topic, right? But again, they each comes with its own strengths and weaknesses. But again, I won't be able to comment anything like which one, like what's this versus that. There are a lot of articles on the internet, and they have particularly done a much better job at explanation which technology is better suited for a particular job. So I think we should refer those insightful articles rather than me saying which one is better. That would be my answer to this question. I try like a couple of things, in when making YouTube videos or blogs. Number one, never talk on anything on politics because always gets you in trouble. Lessons. Anything that creates controversies or anything that does that, I try to avoid all those stuff. You know. So similar, like now, if you ask me like, hey, which Apache Hoodie, Delta Lake, and Iceberg, which is better? Well, I would really say it depends upon your choice. But my personal suggestion, what I like is Hoodie, right? Again, that's the easiest way that I try to avoid, debates or other. What's the right word here? uh, don't want to get into like, because see, you don't want to upset any one community, right? So so that's about it. All right. Levi says, is Kubernetes important for junior? No, I don't. I mean, knowing a little bit helps, but I don't think, maybe some companies might ask. I don't think so. Like Kubernetes, I mean, maybe for deployments. I mean, I'm not a Kubernetes expert though, but I have done a little bit Kubernetes for my projects on my local machine. I don't think it's necessary for a junior engineer. I think for a junior, all anybody, what they expect is, okay, can you write some basic scripts? Can you move some data from A to B? Can you do some transformation? Very basic, right? We are not like, people don't expect junior engineers to create like rockets, right? Like it's understood that the person is junior, and it's understood that the person is here to like learn and take learn more. So I don't think it's quite required. And even if it's required, I think what is important is having the mindset to adapt and learn new things very fast. So I hope that answers the question. Levi says, I saw an entire data platform built with K8s, MinIO, Spark cluster, Airflow, etc. Wow, that's great. That's really great. Yeah, so it all depends from company, right? If a company wants to use open source data stack, probably, then MinIO is a great object store, right? Then again, you can use any of the data lake platforms like Hoodie, Delta Lake, Iceberg. Although my personal suggestion, you know what it would be, that's gonna be Hoodie. And then for scheduling, yep, Airflow is a pretty good one as well. Yep, that's a pretty good start, to be honest. Again, the Spark could be replaced with Flink. Again, depending upon company stack, that could change. Harmeet Singh says, hey Somil, do you ever have time to connect on LinkedIn if there is anything comes up related to stripping? Yeah, sure. If you, yeah, I mean, if you, yeah, just shoot me a message that, hey, we met on YouTube, and then, yeah, we can chat more on LinkedIn as well. Oh wow, that's quite a lot of questions. All right, so what's the time right now? 10 o'clock. Okay, so we'll be there for a couple of more minutes, or about 10 to 15 more minutes, and try to answer as many questions here. Uh, Thank you, Harmeet. Really appreciate that. Yeah, looking forward to connect with you, man. We have a question from says, hello, I'm a subscriber who gets a lot of help from your lectures. These days, object storage such as S3 seems to be widely used as a storage for storing and processing large amount of data. What do you think about the trends of Hadoop as a data storage? Will it be used a lot in future? I think so, right? I don't think that would be going away any sooner, right? And also, talking about S3, a lot of companies are also adopting again MinIO, because it is open source. You can deploy it on your on-prem, right? So that's also a pretty good alternative to S3, I would say. And also, they you can deploy MinIO on Docker or Kubernetes, or just a simple server if you have on your computer. Just you start the server, and then there you go. You have your own S3, right? So yeah. Yashwant says, what is the difference between Flink and Kafka? Well, Flink is a I mean, Kafka. I mean, as you know, it's used to like it's like a queue, right? And Flink is similar to like Spark, right, where it's used for processing data, right? In terms of difference, in what sense are you asking? In terms, if you could elaborate a little bit more, I'm not sure I fully understand like what do you mean as in terms of difference in Flink and Kafka, because they are two different things, right? One is a queuing system and another is like used to process the data, right? So if you can elaborate a little bit more there, I would be happy to answer that. By the way, I am making some videos on more on Flink in my upcoming videos. So I have one video in pending that I'm planning to do with Flink, Hive Metastore, Data Lakes, and yeah, Flink, Min.io, Iceberg, and on these stuff. So I have one video that's coming down the pipeline for that. No, Flink. Well, Flink has Python. You can use Flink in Python too, right? PyFlink, right? I made a lot of videos. Just yesterday, I showed you a guide on how to, get started with Flink and Hoodie locally, right? All you need is like, do conda Python 3.8, and then you just say pip3 install Apache Flink 1.17.1, and there you go. And then you can use it in Python. There is Java also. You can also use it in Java, right? Java, whatever, XYZ. I do not know Java for sure. I only understand and use Python heavily. I unfortunately do not know Java, and I don't want to learn it. It's just a headache with Java. I find Python much more easy, and I can use Python almost everywhere, so. And also most of the companies are using Python. I mean, in terms of data, right? When we say, hey, you are a data engineer, it's expected that person will probably work mostly in Python, right? So Java is used, but again, Python is much more heavily used when the word data engineering comes, if you, right? Yes, one says, got it. Just had a query on them as they are used for, yes, that's right. A lot of actually, a lot of big companies actually use Kafka, Flink, and then Spark heavily, right? When they have all these real-time data processing, like imagine Yashwant, like for example, clicks, right? They're every time you click on a website or something, they're capturing all those events, and you want to see, okay, which product is much more viewed, or which category of the product is much more viewed, right? All those real-time insights, that's where they will use Flink, Kafka, and Spark. I would say usually you will find in the all. I would say the fintech company would use this stack pretty often. If you go into any banks or any hedge funds, probably if you work with any fintech companies, stocks or any company that deals with stocks or option, they are heavily using all these stream processing, real-time data processing, everything. So like Robinhood is the stock which one was the stock upstock, yeah, Upstock, Robinhood, all these trading platform, fintech platform, they heavily, all banks, they heavily use all these stacks, so yeah, I think so. Yeah, Kafka Python is also used a lot in companies, right? I mean, it's easy, written in Python. You can subscribe, you can publish data, you can do, anything, whatever you like with that. So yeah, Kafka Python is also a good way, right? You can publish data too with that library. I mean, pretty much depending upon your use case, right? So. Wow, today a lot of questions. Interesting. I should do this more often, I guess. I try, but But mostly, mostly what I've seen is small companies would always go prefer. Again, my observation, not making a statement there. My observation is like mostly small companies always tend to do things on-prem because of cost and the budget constraint that they have. When you go to big companies, PayPal, Amazon, Google, this, that, right? Then, data processing and all this is also at that scale, right? Kafka, Flink, Spark, all these stuff. Small companies usually will be like, yeah, you want to save money. You don't want to go too much on, AWS. They'll try to do more things on-prem. and try to save cost. That's generally one of my observations I have seen. Kafka versus Spark structured streaming. Not sure I follow that statement, or I mean, do you want me to like describe, or if you could probably better frame that question, would be I would love to answer that. So yeah, I mean, okay. So do you have any plans on making videos about Spark streaming? Yes, I can definitely make. I do have some videos, but yes, I will definitely take that as a note and try to make some contents on Spark streaming. Sure, I'll do that. I had some with Apache Hoodie where I showed streaming pipelines, but if you just want plain old Spark streaming, I'll do it. I'll make some contents on that. Any other questions? Please use the chat window, and don't be shy. Don't be afraid to like post a question. Don't be afraid to like think, oh, what the other person is gonna think. I mean, let them think what they want to think. You just ask your question and get it solved. As simple as that, right? So ask the question, learn as much as you can, and don't be shy of what other people are gonna think about you, right? So that's all I'll say. And also, like, I don't know everything. Like a lot of time, I personally, what, I have to go Google, I have to use Chat GPT, I do this and that, and I try to learn, right? Nobody in this world knows everything, that is for sure. But what is important, that what mindset and attitude you have towards learning new things, right? So 100% nobody knows everything, right? If somebody says I know everything, he or she is lying, right? Because the industry, the world is changing every single day as we speak. So what is more important is having a right mindset and having a learning attitude, right? So feel free, ask the question. What if yeah, I mean, hey, what about this, what about that? I mean, yeah, nobody knows. I myself don't know everything, man. I'm learning still. I'm like, hey, how do you do this? Like I guess like 2 days back I was trying to like learn, hey, how do you use like Hive Metastore with Flink and Hoodie? I was trying to learn, right? Nobody knows everything, as I said. I used so anyway, but coming to the questions back, so Levi says, I use Glue within Airflow for Spark processing. How hard is it to change to EMR? So you use Glue. So yeah, so the I mean, so the Glue code does not adapt well with. What I'm saying is that like you have these Glue imports, like from Glue import this, from do that, and then when you switch to EMR, I think the some of the code blocks would change. But I think if you have Chat GPT, you can simply put this and say, hey, convert this code into plain old vanilla Spark, PySpark. I think it should be doable, and then you can switch to EMR. But I would say you can also adopt a strategy where you can gradually or say any new jobs moving forward, we'll switch it to EMR. So slowly transition into a new stack, right? And then start decommissioning the old jobs from Glue or to EMR. Yashwan says, when you are back in India, we can have a India meetup. Of course, buddy. Of course, man. Zarur. 100%. Definitely. Would love to meet you. Would love to meet anybody whenever I'm back in India, for sure. Harmeet Singh says, another question. While scraping social platforms, they can detect even if you change the IP address or use a fake user agent. What other parameters they check in the? I think there are some. I think in the. So first of all, you can experiment with again using user agent, using IP addresses, fake IP addresses, and there are some parameters that you can also remove. So like in Google Chrome, there's some parameters in the proto. I think in that article that I described, Harmeet, there are you can remove certain key and value, which usually the browsers are looking for to know whether it's a Selenium or not. So those are one of them, and there are some other browser. What was that? Puppeteer is there. Selenium is there. Of course, you can try other like. Scraping user agents as well, right? So you can try all of these again, but I think one of the most difficult part is like CAPTCHA, right? CAPTCHA, bypassing CAPTCHA is and Cloudflare is a bit difficult. That's something we haven't found a catch to that. But I think with ChatGPT and all of these, now people are doing some crazy stuff where they are passing the CAPTCHA to ChatGPT, asking ChatGPT to solve, and then they are inserting back. So I think with the AI and all these stuff, I think that should be easy now, is what I would say. All right. So any other questions? Happy to answer them. Yep, that's yeah. I mean, with all these AI and then all these, I think it's quite easy now to bypass all these stuff. But yeah. All right. Any other questions that we can answer? Let's see the time. 10:04. Okay. Okay. We're gonna be there for 5 or 10 more minutes, and then we'll wrap this up. And but trust me, I really enjoyed everybody's question today. We have one more question from Yubin. Says, what program do you use to record the computer screen? Yeah, so the software is called OBS. It's a free software. You do not have to pay anything for that software. And in that software, what you can do is you can add multiple screens, and in each screen or window, you can basically add what is called sources, right? You can add microphone as a source, a camera as a source, window capture as a source. You can resize stuff. So it's a free software that you can try. It's called OBS. That's the software that I use. And for the microphone, I use Yeti Blue, and then for my camera, I use Sony ZV-1. These are the things that I use for my YouTube videos. I've been having this from fairly long time, 5-6 years back. But by the way, I heard like the fixed deposit rates in India are pretty good. It's about like 7.1% for senior citizen. That's pretty good. US bank does not offer you that much interest. So the maximum interest here you can get in the US bank is about, I guess, 5%. So comparing that, India is offering much more better return on your money. So that's something I heard, by the way. Same here, Yashwant. Same here. Some banks are even give. Are you serious? 9.25%. Really? So when I research, so again, first of all, US bank do not offer mostly no returns on the money. Second of all, if you open up a high yield savings account, the like Discover, whatever that is, the return is about 4.25%. I'm like, really? All right. And if you open up a brokerage like Webull or Robin or whatever, they give you like 5%. And then I was casually researching, and I found some Indian banks for senior citizen is about 7.5 to 8% return. I was like, wow, that's really good. Like, compared to the US, so the rates are much better in India. Also, one of the life hacks you can do is, instead, let's say hypothetically you have number 10, and let's say you want to do a FD or fixed deposit. So you should not do direct 10 in one. Why? Because I think government is, I think, assured by 5 lakh or something. So you want to break that into 1 lakh, and then you want to diversify your FDs in multiple banks. So that's something I learned as well, something interesting other than coding and programming. So thought to let you know. Okay, we have a question. Says, I'm still confused about the difference between Spark Streaming and Flink. Could you tell me more major difference between those two? I can share some article on this one. I think they do a much better job than I would. So let me share this one. Flink Streaming versus. I think these articles are much better at explaining these items than I would do. All right, so I want to definitely share this article to you that I was reading last week. Apache Spark versus Apache Flink, a comprehensive comparison. This is a good article. I think you can definitely take a look at it. And also there's one article by AWS, so I think I'll share that as well. Side by side comparison. Yep, this one. So I think these both are good articles. So please take a look at it. They are much more insightful than I would probably give you on the video. So All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Questions? Ask me anything, man. By the way, right now, I also want to say so I don't know if anybody is watching from India who's planning to come to US for study. I just want to say right now the job market is extremely terrible. Extremely. I repeat on the video, extremely terrible. People are not finding jobs. There are a lot of layoff in the America right now. Inflation is high, so things are not good in the economy right now. So I definitely want to say that. A lot of companies had layoff. Amazon had layoff. Tesla announced layoff. Apple also laid off a couple of employees. Right now the job market in US is extremely bad. So if anybody is planning to come and do masters, probably you might want to consider maybe next or something after that, just looking at the macroeconomy and stuff. So that would be my suggestion. So thought to tell that. Yeah, I think overall everywhere, I think there are issues, right, in the world, right? There is some war going on between between this country and that country. Inflation is high, a layoff. It's hard. It's just not easy, that. But anyway, so again, all I would say at the end of the day, be happy, be with your loved ones, and I think it should be all good. Muhammad here says, I am a full stack developer and I want to learn many things on bucket list for tech. I don't know how to manage the learning with office work. This is a very great question, and this is how usually I approach. I can personally share my tips that I do. I also do have a 9 to 5 job, and I have to learn new things. At the same time, you have to cook food. You have to give time to your loved ones as well. If you are married, then you have to give time to your kids, right? Take them to like play school, this and that. So it's hard. I understand, right? So what's gonna help you here is noting down everything on a piece of paper. Okay, how much time you're spending on this or how much time you're spending on that, and then having allocating fixed learning hours. Like for example, for me, my learning hours are from Saturday 9 to 11, and then Sunday 9 to 11. That time nobody disturbs me. My phone is on do not disturb, right? I don't take any calls. I'm simply reading articles on the internet. I'm watching videos. I'm taking course. I'm just learning. I'm trying things out. So doing this over the years compound. Now how? Let's say 1 raised to 365 is how much? 1, right? But 1.01 raised to 365, I believe, is about 37. So what I'm saying is that 0.1 that you add, but if you do that over the years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, you will see that knowledge will compound very fast. So I think what would help you, Mohammed, would be having definitely a schedule and doing things on the schedule. With that being said, I also equally believe that only study does not help, because in life there are other things to do. For example, if you are married, again, as I said, you have to take your kids to like school, playground, this and that. So having balance is really important. If you study all time, then I think what ends up happening is then your health is affected and this and that. So go to the gym, have balance for everything in life, is all I would say. So preparing it and having schedule would help basically. So I hope that helps. Mohammed says, if I choose to get started with streaming data processing, how do I start it? Great, Mohammed. So first, I think what you can do is you can just learn Python or PySpark, right? Then go into Spark streaming, do a hello world here and there. After that, go to Flink, learn Flink basic, table environment, streaming environment, etc. Learn how to create a source, learn how to create a sink, do some simple hands-on lab locally using Docker. You can spin up, SQL Server or MySQL or Postgres. Try to get data from some source, try to put data into some sink, try to do these labs. These labs will help you to like understand the underlying technology much well. And I think I also have a lot of videos on Delta Streamer, Spark, Flink. So go try out, clone, do stuff is all I would say. When you get time, take out time and try to do these labs, because the way I have learned all these stuff is trying out, man, asking so many questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? Right? I don't know everything. I still don't know, and I'm still learning, right? But I think what I would say is having projects or doing projects is the best way to learn these things. I hope I answered that question. All right. So, any other questions I could answer today? I must say it has been a fantastic Q&A today. But yeah, very great Q&A today. A lot of people participated. It's fun. I had a good time talking to everybody today. So, all right. So we're gonna give 5 more minutes. That will be 10:30. Then after that, I have to go cook food for myself. That would take again an hour or so, and then probably study a little bit in the afternoon, and then watch movie with my watch movie in the evening. So I have a balanced schedule. So I don't want to just keep studying all day. So yeah, I'll have 5 more minutes for the live YouTube stream. We'll answer some of more questions if you have any, and then need to go cook food for the day. So. All right. Any other questions? Use the chat window, and then we'll wrap today's live Q&A. Okay. Thank you, Harmeet Singh. Thank you so much, man. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, all I would say at the end is, maybe I'll conclude it. Is so study, of course, but also at the same time, make sure you have a balanced schedule for your work, for your study, for your loved ones, and also your health. Sitting on the desk all day is definitely not healthy. Blood pressure, cholesterol, I'm just not happy, right? So all I would say, study, then go out for a run, go for a bike ride, go for a walk, evening walk. At the same time, have schedule. Try to spend as much time with your loved one as well. Try to spend your time with your family members as well. That's overall the best way to live life. That's all I have to say. And in general, try to help as many people as you can. Remember, you also, if you're a senior, remember you were also a junior at a time, and somebody also helped you, right? So keep that in mind, and be humble, be nice to people, and have a great attitude towards everything in general, right? With that being said, I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody's healthy. And it was a really great to talk to everybody today here. And I'm sure a lot of people would have other questions, and I could not answer all the questions today in the live Q&A. I'll try to do the same next week. So until then, keep smiling, keep programming, stay safe, stay healthy, and